RetroDaze.
No matter what kind of Thanksgiving entertainment you're watching in November, see our last video about Thanksgiving television, chances are you tuned in to watch the spectacle that is the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. And why not? Over the years, Macy's has positioned itself as the home of the official parade, not only for Thanksgiving, but for the opening of the holiday shopping season, complete with Santa Claus's arrival. In today's video, all the members of the RetroDaze team have come together to select a few of our favorite Macy's floats from the parades of yesteryear. On November 27, 1924, Macy's department store in New York City held the very first of their soon-to-be annual Thanksgiving Day parades. However, at the time, it was actually advertised as Macy's Christmas Parade, complete with the aforementioned arrival of Santa Claus at the end of the procession. That same year, the department store had expanded to span the entirety of the block, from Broadway to 7th Avenue along 34th Street. To help advertise their enormous 1 million square foot department store, Macy's president Herbert Strauss announced that the city of New York would be treated to a one-of-a-kind holiday event like nothing it had seen before, as reported by Rebecca Paul in her article, The 97-Year History of the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Macy's advertised with a full-page ad for the Big Christmas Parade, which would include magnificent floats, 4 bands, an animal circus, and hundreds of special features. Besides helping to welcome Santa into town, the parade was also marketed as the official unveiling of their special Christmas window display, The Fairy Frolics of Wondertown, designed and executed by Tony Sarg, a man who had moved from London to start his own marionette business. In fact, the entire theme of this first parade was made to match that of the window display, with Mother Goose floats and all. The parade was a hit. 10,000 spectators packed in to cheer the arrival of Santa and rushed to gawk at the fantastic window display before filing right into Macy's for hours of shopping. The very next day, Macy's announced the parade's return the following year. Over time, the route shrank in length while the parade itself grew in size. During those first years, the parade also became less associated with Christmas, first being called the Santa Parade in 1934, and finally being rebranded as the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in 1935 for the 12th annual outing. Aside from missing 3 years in a row from 1942 to 44, the Macy's Parade has run continuously since its inception. This year, 2023, will be the 97th annual parade. Over the course of the previous 96 parades, there have been a great number of floats to make their mark on the minds of viewers, young and old alike. Narrowing these down to just a few of our favorites was no easy task, but we've managed to select what are bound to be memorable ones for many viewers. Our first selection is the Marvel Float, which ran from its debut in 1987 until 1989. During the float's final year, it was introduced by Willard Scott and Deborah Norville. Willard Scott mostly stands by as Deborah stumbles through the script, at one point even declaring that Wonder Woman was part of the Marvel Float.
You're through, Dr. Doom!
On the float, Melba Moore struggles to free herself from villains as the music to Holding Out for a Hero begins. And that's where they lose me.
Where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? Where's the streetwise Hercules to fight the rising odds?
Hey, easy now. Stop typing that negative comment. I have plenty of good to talk about here, but something just feels wrong about having an epic superhero float break into song. Still, if they had to use music, this was a good choice. There is a whole lot of slow motion flailing going on in this one, but when certain characters, like Spider-Man, get into their classic comic book poses, they admittedly look spot on accurate. Another highlight is the enormous cast of characters in, on, and around the float. Both heroes and villains of the Marvel Universe are represented, with characters like Dr. Doom, Silver Surfer, Captain America, Magneto, Wolverine, Emma Frost, and many more. The float itself has a couple of impressive interactive elements as well. Nearing the end of the 1989 performance, we get more of those classic superhero poses as the float continues along the parade route, followed closely behind by the Spider-Man balloon. Closing out the segment, Willard mentions,
"Hey, that's one of the biggest production numbers in this show and a real crowd pleaser."
And decades later, we can still see why, despite the complete lack of Wonder Woman. I mean, what gives? Another incredibly popular float was the Masters of the Universe and Princess of Power float, which debuted in 1985 and was retired after the 1986 appearance. It's hard to choose a favorite performance between the 2 years, as they both have strong and weak points. In 1985, the camera work captured moments of action a little better, and having Orko open the scene is a strong choice. The music accompaniment is also excellent, as Leonard Bernstein's Night on Bald Mountain lends a darkly epic atmosphere to the proceedings. The choreography here seems better practiced and more precise at times, though there are moments when the side characters appear to either stand around with no idea of what to do or blindly flail in the mist. Though, to be fair, both performances boast missed cues and examples of the dreaded slow-motion fighting as seen in that Marvel float. The 1986 performance has the benefit of Dolph Lundgren's narration, though admittedly, he sounds at best bemused and at worst apathetic.
Many an evil character has been defeated at my sword. 'Tis hands of this mighty hero.
The music this time around was Polestar by Vangelis, which is, in my humble opinion, a weaker choice, though certainly more modern. Notably, this song was also the theme for a Philippine television newscast, TV Patrol, from 1987 to 1994.
For the honor of Grayskull, I am She-Ra.
As with the Marvel outing, the real showstopper is the float itself, an enormous 75 feet long and 24 feet tall set piece that weighed a whopping 20 tons. Both Castle Grayskull and the Crystal Castle are represented here, as well as a giant moving serpent that exhales smoke and apparently doubles as a ladder. This monstrosity required 4 technicians to operate. It's further cited by the Macy's Thanksgiving fandom website as one of the most technically complex floats in Macy's parade history. Before introducing the next float, it has become important that we discuss our selection process. As you'll no doubt notice, we're not billing these as the best, the biggest, or even the most popular floats. Far be it from me to claim that any sort of objective rating has gone on here. Rather, these are merely the most memorable floats for the staff at RetroDaze. As such, this next float was chosen for a specific and particularly subjective reason. Our writer discovered this single float on a recorded VHS tape he had since he was a child, and roughly 4 years ago even uploaded it to YouTube. The float in question is Strawberry Shortcake from the 1982 parade, though it actually debuted in 1981. Another interesting note about this VHS video is that, for a while, it was the only available footage of the 82 parade until 2022, when a recording of the full parade was discovered. During that 1982 outing, costumed characters from the cartoon performed the song "An Animal is a Kid's Best Friend."
Get your butter cookies there. Lime chiffon has got a yacker. Parfait carrot wants a cracker. What makes cherry cobbler berry? A goosey goosey called gooseberry. Lemon meringue was quite unhappy till she found her froggy rabbit. Marmalade, the butterfly, is the apple of Orange Blossom's eye.
We even get to hear Mr. Sun utter his catchphrase, "Tell me when the scary part is over." Okay, Mr. Sun, we're moving on. Our next selection, Watership Down from 1977, is similarly a subjective choice, this time courtesy of our producer who notes, "The Watership Down float is not nearly as impressive as the He-Man and Marvel floats, but my personal fandom of Watership Down, paired with the rarity of anything related to the promotion, carries a lot of weight when choosing it." To support this notion of rarity, the float itself only made 2 appearances and was retired after the 1978 parade. The float was originally created to help promote the release of the film, which is of course based on the 1972 novel by Richard Adams.
years. I know you've looked after us well, and it's wrong to ask even more of you. But my people are in terrible danger. So I would like to make a bargain with you. My life in return for theirs.
There is not a day or night but a doe offers her life for her kittens, or some honest captain of Asla his life for his chief. But there is no bargain. What is what must be.
The float was divided into two different parts, one with good rabbits and the other with bad. But unlike all the other selections today, there were no interactive, musical, or performative elements to the Watership Down float. Having worked our way through many memorable Thanksgiving Day floats, our research team stumbled upon a couple of items that didn't fit into our criteria, but we felt deserve an honorable mention. Such is the case with a 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles debut in the iconic Euclid Beach rocket car. The group was hot off their Coming Out of Their Shells tour and still rocking the appropriate gear, jean jackets and all. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles wouldn't get their own float, however, until 2012 when they appeared in their Nickelodeon designs. Our second honorable mention is Tom Turkey, which is both the oldest and longest running float in the parade. It's easy to discount Tom since we see him every year, but there's no doubt that he is the unofficial mascot of the parade. He even traded his pilgrim hat for a blue top hat to further indigenize the parade and to signify his position as the parade's Grand Marshal. Since its debut in 1973, the Tom Turkey float has only missed a single parade. Ever since the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was featured in the 1947 movie Miracle on 34th Street, national recognition has only grown. In fact, it was due to the movie's success that CBS first broadcast the parade nationally in 1948, leading to exponential growth in viewership. In that time, there were innumerable parade floats, each with their own impact and staying power. So, as always, we need to know what Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade floats of yesteryear are most memorable for you. I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. And if you enjoy our content, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even activating that ubiquitous notification bell. It really does make a huge difference. Let's meet again next week to celebrate yesteryear right here on RetroDaze.
Clicky clacky.